We are live. What is going on, everyone? Thank you all so much for tuning in at this time. Greatly appreciate it. Anybody that's watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to watch the video or like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody. Thank you all so very much for tuning in, especially on Christmas Day. I'm sure many people are with their families and stuff, but those that are here with me, taking the time away from friends, family, all that, I do appreciate it. Hey, the Lakers just they're not good enough right now. I mean, it's just, if we're being honest, it's just the case, right? They're not there, right? That doesn't mean that they can't get there. They're just currently not there. Anthony Davis was amazing, but outside of that, LeBron had his struggles. We don't have another scorer. It's the reason why I keep saying, like, we need a trade. We need to go get somebody that can go get buckets, right? You have Anthony Davis accounting for a third of your points or whatever, or 40% of your points. It's all the missed layups, all the missed shots, opportunities. Like, we don't have anybody that can consistently knock down the three ball outside of Taurean Prince. Luckily, Prince has still been very good. If we could just get somebody that could just go get a bucket and hit a consistent three, I think that would help a lot. It's why, like, I know people aren't super sold on the idea of Zach LaVine, but Zach LaVine solves a lot of these issues, right? You have a consistent guy that could just go get a bucket, generate offense. You don't have to constantly, rely on AD and LeBron to basically generate all of your offense. We don't really have anybody that you can just give the ball to and he can just go consistently get buckets, right? When Boston, when they were struggling offensively, right? You give the ball to Brown, you give the ball to Tatum, and you let them just go to work. We don't have anybody like that. We don't have that guard or forward that can just go get buckets with regularity, right? And it's tough, right? I mean, Austin Reeves can go get a bucket on occasion, but he has to work so hard. He can't just like elevate over guys. He doesn't have this like ridiculous athleticism, anything like that. It's just he has to finagle his way into the defense, try to create contact, things like that. He's not a natural, like, just dominant scorer. And we need something like that. We need a scorer. We need another big man outside of Jackson Hayes, right? I mean, Jackson Hayes, I talked about Jackson Hayes when we signed him, that he was a project, right? The idea wasn't that he was going to be our next guy. The idea was that, he'd be like our third guy, a bit of a project, a guy we could keep long-term. I love that. But we're not good enough right now. And it's unfortunate. It hurts. It sucks to say, but we're just not. We're not up there with the better teams. We're a good team. We're a team that can rattle off some wins. They can win some games. I still believe we'll make the playoffs. I don't think we'll be a play-in team, but you never know. I mean, the way that we're playing right now. But just in general, like, it's one of those things where it's like, we got to get there, whether it's through trade or whatever. Also, that starting unit, again, can't stop anybody defensively. That's the one thing that we have, right? Just the defense. Lock down defensively, keep things contained, then you can bring in the offense and you're good to go. Unfortunately, that's just not what's happening. So I don't know. We're going to have to figure stuff out. There were some good things. I like that second and third quarter from the Lakers. Towards the end of the third, it kind of got away from them there. And then Boston was able to kind of just close it out in the fourth. But there were some good things. There were some bad things overall. But again, we're just not there. we're not good enough. And it's unfortunate. But anyway, let's dive into the box scores. We'll break that down. And then we'll jump into your super chats and all of your comments and stuff like that. Again, one more time, because there's a lot more people here than there were when I first started. I just want to say again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everyone. I really do appreciate everybody hanging out with me at this time. I didn't know how many people would actually be in this live stream, but it's great to see some people hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. But all right, let's get into the nitty gritty here, and then we'll jump into the comments and answer all the questions and stuff. So start with Anthony Davis, because he was amazing, ridiculous. He's having a really good year. His shot is falling, right? He was 50% from three, 2 of 4 from three. He was 15 of 26 from the field total, and they were doing everything they could to contain AD. AD was being aggressive, being dominant. I loved what we saw from Anthony Davis. That was fantastic. 40 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, and then just getting it done. I mean, he was our entire offense. Again, we scored 115 points, and AD accounted for 40 of them, right? Nobody else got 20, right? The closest was our second leading scorer was Taurean Prince, right? So let's start there. 17 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 of 12 from three-point range, which is excellent, 41.7%. Again, outside of Prince, we don't have anybody that can consistently knock down the three. And that's why I lean towards going and get, because let's say we traded for a Buddy Hield, that would help, but he's not going to solve all of our shooting woes. That's why give me a scorer, give me a guy that could just go get a bucket. Give me a guy that, it would be nice if he could shoot a three, right? Like a DeMar DeRozan or whatever. But if we can, or a Zach LaVine, but if we could even get a DeMar DeRozan, somebody we could just give the ball to when our offense is stagnant. Our defense can lock down, but we can't generate regular offense without having to work twice as hard. Boston's they have too many offensive weapons. We just can't keep up. And they just share the basketball, move the ball, do what they're supposed to do. It's tough. But anyway, Taurean Prince, again, excellent game. LeBron James, he struggled a bit. He was 5 of 14 from the field. He missed several layups, just layups. Don't get me wrong, the refs were not very favorable for the Lakers today, especially being in LA. Just the lack of free throws, lack of foul calling, especially for the Lakers being so aggressive, was a little rough. But I don't really think that was the sole reason the Lakers lost. A lot of this loss, in my opinion, came down to just not getting back in transition. Boston destroyed us in transition, and we've been much better in transition. And then just having better offensive motion, right? We just don't have the scoring. But yeah, LeBron finished with 16 points, 8 assists, 9 rebounds. Then you had Austin Reeves, 4 of 9 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 11 points. Rui with 12 points. He was 2 of 9 from 3, terrible from 3. But again, that's not his game. It frustrates me so much that Rui Hachimura, there is never an acceptable reason for Rui Hachimura to shoot 9 threes. 9 threes. I'm not saying he shouldn't shoot any threes. If you wanted to shoot 4, maybe 5, if you're just getting wide open looks, fine. But to shoot 9 threes, right? I mean, he took the second most threes next to Taurean Prince. That's not Rui's game. He can occasionally hit the three. Sometimes we've seen he'll be hot from 3 and the shots just falling, right? Those games, sure. If he's 6 of 9 from 3, then sure, let him take it. But he was at one point missed 4 or 5 straight threes, right? It's not the way to play. D'Lo, 17 minutes. Again, he played 17 minutes and again, actually delivered pretty well. He wasn't in the double figures, but he did give 8 points, 6 assists, which was really good. 4 or 6 from the field. So I'll take that. If he could give us that kind of production off the bench with regularity, I will gladly take that. But anyway, let's jump into the super chats and all of the regular comments and stuff. And again, I really appreciate all of you. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being here. And dive into the first one. Motorsport, come in and hop the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Let's just give that win back with the terrible performance and effort and laugh and joke at the end of the game. It doesn't matter. LeBron was bad. Didn't LeBron say something about he doesn't care about this matchup or something like that? I mean, it's not really what you want to hear from your leader when you're getting ready to play a Christmas Day game. I mean, I understand the sentiment. It's just another game. But, we're kind of not in the best position of it's just another game, especially in the Western Conference where every win matters right now. I mean, from 2 to 10 is decided by 3 games, 3.5 games, right? So every game is important. Every game is significant. And yeah, LeBron had a rough game today, without a doubt. I mean, how many point blank layups did he just miss? Which was rough. But Motorsport coming in hot in a game with $2 super chat. Really appreciate that. Nobody likes Tatum, my least favorite player ever. I actually kind of like Tatum. But I just, he's one of those guys where he completely fades in games. I'm not saying he did that this game, but the reason I just don't believe in Boston, right? Look, Boston's clearly the best team. They've been the best team all year. They should, by all standards, win the NBA championship this year. But it's just one of those things. Like, every year they're the best team. And every year in key moments, Tatum will just completely fade, right? Like, how many times have we seen Tatum have like 30 through 3 quarters and then just like the fourth quarter in a tight game, when you need him most, he's just absent. You might as well not even be on the court. That's just kind of my thing, but I don't know. Time will tell. We'll see. But next up, Jeremy coming in hot, the $50 super chat. Thank you so much. That is super kind of you. Seriously, Merry Christmas. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You taking your time after the game on Christmas to do a show when I know you have kids. Huge props. Well, thank you. Seriously. Like my family understands. They're all eating and hanging out and stuff like that. They got their presents and stuff, so they're very entertained right now. I got the wife. She's helping me out solid because she knows like the show doesn't stop, right? Like, and I'm very appreciative of that. But huge props. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Likewise, seriously, and everybody. Thank you all so much for being here. I was a little worried that like no one would really be here because it's Christmas and we got like 153 people. That's beautiful. I love it. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a fantastic evening. Well, thank you. Thank you. Definitely. This was an excellent Christmas present. Very kind of you. I'm very appreciative of that. And yeah, hey, now it would have been nice to come on here and be like, yeah, we got the win. Like, but you know how that goes. Andrew coming in hot with $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I got to get LaVine. I'm with you. I mentioned it earlier. The Lakers just don't have consistent scoring. They don't have another guy that can just go get a bucket, right? AD's shot is falling, which is beautiful, right? And that bodes really well, especially come playoff time. But we don't have anybody that can just easily generate offense by themselves, right? Everyone kind of needs LeBron or somebody to set them up. And then on top of everybody kind of setting them up, you also need like to work hard. Like I mentioned earlier, like with Reeves, he has to work so hard for his offense. He can't just like blow by his defender or elevate over the top, right? It's all like crafty, slow-mo, get into the teeth of the defense, and then try to create space to then get a bucket. That's why I think that the Lakers need a Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan or whomever. I just think Zach LaVine is the most likely scenario at this point. But I don't know. Time will tell. But we definitely need somebody. But again, appreciate you all. Thank you very much for super chats. LeBron at point guard is not sustainable on the long run, and Hayes has to go. He's useless. Again, like Hayes, he's not like he was never supposed to, or at least the idea was he was never supposed to be this like significant rotation guy. He was a guy that like, okay, you could plug in here and there for a handful of minutes, right? Play alongside AD, play alongside Wood, not to be the replacement. Like if he's playing alongside AD, I think he could be a little more impactful. The problem is we don't have anybody that can relieve AD outside of Hayes and Wood, which I don't know why Wood doesn't get any minutes. Like Wood can't be worse than Jackson Hayes has been. So it's frustrating. And like LeBron at point guard, I think it like to start the game and to close the game, yes. If you're running him at point the entirety of the game, you're going to wear him down. And Anthony Davis, the amount of minutes that AD has played these last 2 games is like, it's scary. I mean, he played 42 minutes last game and he played 38 and a half minutes this game, right? Like, again, you're going to end up getting these guys hurt. That's what's going to happen. And the problem is we just don't have anybody else. That's why I think but that's another thing that solves, like if you get a LaVine or something, right? Because LeBron can play point to start the game, but now you have the offense between LeBron, Veen, and AD to get what you need done, right? So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Time will tell. But Jeremy, thank you again. Merry Christmas. Our refs were actually discussing. Yeah, there was a lot of just like missed blown calls that were killing us. Zach LaVine is not changing the outcome of this game. You'd be surprised. You would be surprised, especially because look, if you have Zach LaVine, right? One, that applies pressure. Porzingis got in early foul trouble. We didn't have anybody outside of AD that could apply pressure to Porzingis. Maybe you get Porzingis out of the game. Top of that, we started off just terrible offensively, right? Get into a hole down 18. If you have Zach LaVine, that's another scorer that may be able to keep you in the game, right? Maybe now instead of being down 18, maybe even if you are down, maybe you're down 10. And that could be the difference because now it's a closer game going into the fourth. You also would have a guy in Zach LaVine who probably would give you at least 20. Outside of Anthony Davis, nobody gave you 20 points. If Zach LaVine goes and gives you 25 this game, right? Like all of a sudden it could be the outcome. I'm not saying it absolutely like, oh, like if we had Zach LaVine, that's the difference. We win this game. I'm not saying that, but it changes a lot. Like having Zach LaVine would change a lot. AD absolutely balled out tonight. I agree. BTS, thank you so much for being here. How are you? Lakers were missing shots basically. Yeah, I mean, that didn't help either. They weren't like atrocious, but it wasn't great by any stretch. But diving into more super chats. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Motorsport, Merry Midness. Yeah, seriously, that's what that was. That was just so it was. They're very mid right now. Everybody that's hanging out here. I really do appreciate that. Seriously. Andrew, coming out, $2 super chat. LaVine can keep up with athletic wings. D'Lo and AR can't. Yeah, exactly. I mean, just his athleticism, said his rim pressure, his ability to create his own shot, his ability to shoot over the top. Like, there's just so many different things that Zach LaVine would add to this Lakers roster, right? His ability to be another three-point threat. Right? When LeBron does have the ball, his ability to play off the ball. Now you don't have just Taurean Prince that can knock down, 5 threes. Zach LaVine hits 5 threes all the time. So now you have multiple guys that can generate offense. And then LaVine in moments when LeBron's resting, right? That's not all on Anthony Davis, right? You can give the ball to LaVine and LaVine can go generate buckets when LeBron's out. We don't have anybody that can just go get a bucket at will. Right. And I'm not saying LaVine is like the best scorer in the league or anything like that. But when LaVine's on, he's up there with the best of them. Talk about a guy that on any night can go give you 50. He has multiple 50 games for his career. He has a 50-point game this season. Right. I mean, that's just another threat. And he'd be going from the number 1 option to the number 2 or 3 option. Right. Like that's a big difference. The amount of looks he would get. Right. I mean, Taurean Prince is getting looks like he's never gotten. I mean, almost every one of his attempts are wide open because people are so concerned with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Now, Zach LaVine, he's going to get open looks, open threes. He's going to be put on an island. Usually teams will try to trap him or double team him if he's getting hot. How do you do that with LeBron James and Anthony Davis? Right? So it changes so much of the game. Zach completely changes the dynamic of this team. Agreed. I'm right there with you. Right? His impact, not even just his scoring, just for him to be a threat. Again, teams aren't worried about Austin Reeves or D'Lo or guys. I mean, again, Prince is getting left wide open. I mean, they're living with one. Like, there's even when Reeves has got it going and he's hot and he's giving you 20, teams are looking at it as like, hey, if he goes off for 50, so be it. He's never done it, so we'll just live with it. Right? That's a big issue, right? But Zach LaVine, he could beat you. If you let him go and he starts cooking and he continues to cook, now you need to throw the double team at him. Now that changes up defensive schemes because now teams can't defend Anthony Davis the way that they like to defend Anthony Davis. Or they can't, trap LeBron out in the post because it's like if we trap LeBron, you got Zach LaVine who could just light it up or just beat you off the dribble. Right? Like it changes so many things. Prince and LaVine, the spacing would be incredible. That's my point. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I think he helps a lot. Is he the cure-all? Like, does he solve everything? No, of course not. Right? The Lakers have several needs, but he fixes, like I mentioned, probably 70% of the Lakers' issues. But time will tell. We'll see. But where were we in the chat? LeBron played horribly. Yeah, LeBron needs help. He's carrying. LeBron needs help. Trade everyone. Lakers suck. Yeah, they haven't been great. That's for sure. Let's see. Week. Yeah, that was rough. Vanderbilt and Reddish cannot start. No offense whatsoever. I mean, they could start if you had another offensive threat. Like, again, to stick on my LaVine rank. If you have Zach LaVine, you could start Reddish and Vanderbilt. Because at that point, you have enough offense between LaVine, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. You got 3 guys that could go give you 40 points by themselves in a quarter, right? Between the 3 of them, right? So, I mean, at that point, you can get away with a Reddish and a Vanderbilt. The problem is that, like, when they're on the court and you got LeBron and AD, and those are the only ones that can generate. Yes, you have Taurean Prince, who, if he's hot, is good, but he can't generate his own offense. You can't just give him the ball and let him go one-on-one, right? So it changes things. Let's see. This is a bad loss to the Celtics. I mean, every loss is a bad loss. I mean, this game went better than I thought it was going to be, if I'm being honest. That second and third quarter I liked. It's just we let it get away at the end. Transition was a big issue. Showed you what this team is without him going off. Yeah. Get DeMar. I would like DeMar. I just don't think they're going to trade DeMar. Their plan is to trade LaVine and then figure out if this team is worth keeping. And DeMar DeRozan has now said like 2 or 3 times that he wants to stay with Chicago. How much of that is just showing face? How much of that is just, the company man answer? And how much of that is like an actuality? Time to get LaVine. I think so too. Merry Christmas, Laker fam. Yes. Merry Christmas, everybody. We need LaVine and Drummond. Agreed. Go get those 2. And again, they help a lot. At least you can trust Andre Drummond, right? Again, he's not the best center in the world, but he's one of, if not the best backups in the league. So, this team is not a championship team. I agree. They are not. They was in the game until the fourth quarter. The Celtics started abusing Reeves. Yeah. I mean, I'd say towards the end of the third, because they really pushed it like that last minute and a half, whatever it was. Win or lose, the amount of players Darvin is misusing is getting frustrating. I agree with you 100%. I have screamed this. I'm going to be honest. I don't have an answer as to who to replace him, but he's not the one to lead us to the promised land. I mean, he just hasn't been good at all, right? Like, again, he just the lack of utilization is my biggest gripe with him. My biggest gripe. It's frustrating. It really is. October 6th, coming in hot with the super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That was very kind of you. Really appreciate it. I don't see a comment or anything, so I don't know if you were trying to say anything in particular, or if you were just contributing to the cause, which I really appreciate. But if you had anything to say, please let me know. I'll kind of keep an eye out at the bottom of the chat for it. But again, appreciate that. Thank you. Where were we? We were. I lost my spot. Here we go. Can we trade Rui and D'Lo for LaVine? You need to add a little more. But depending on how it goes, so like most likely it'll be something like Rui, D'Lo, maybe throw in like Gabe Vincent, Shafino, and like Hayes, and you go get like LaVine and Andre Drummond or something along those lines. LeBron didn't show up. We need that third star that can help just help AD and LeBron, which is my point. Like, you need somebody that can help provide some offense besides LeBron and Anthony Davis. October 6th said, I meant to say the Lakers have to fix this clunky offense. First off, again, October 6th here. Let me pull up that chat again. Again, appreciate you. You're not wrong. Right. But that's the problem. Like, that's part of like my entire rant. Like, we don't have anybody that can just go get a bucket, right? Or that can consistently put the ball in the hoop, right? Reeves, he can go get a bucket on occasion, but he has to work too hard. You don't have anybody that can just explode past the defender or elevate over the top or just be a distraction to where defenses can't defend LeBron James and Anthony Davis the way that they defend LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Teams are okay with letting Reeves go one-on-one, letting Prince get wide open threes, right? Like, we just don't have enough of the offensive talent and output and consistency. We have guys that on certain nights, right? Like Rui can go give you 20, gave you 20 in the previous game. Reeves has had a stretch where he got like 20 in like 6 out of 7 games or something like that. D'Lo's had games where he's gone off for like 20 or 30. Right? You have guys that on nights can do it. If you don't have anybody that can consistently, night in and night out, go give you 20 plus. And even on a bad night, could give you 15. Right? That's the difference. If you get a guy like a Zach LaVine, just again using him as an example because I think he's the most realistic, that is a guy that can, even on a bad night, will go give you 15, right? Even if he's shooting poorly, you can count on him for 15 to 20 like clockwork. And then at any given night, he can go give you 30 to 40, right? I mean, when he's on, good luck. You're not beating the Lakers if he's on, right? But even if he's not on, even if he's just, he would immediately, okay, let me put it like this. If we trade for Zach LaVine, he would immediately be our best natural scorer. Again, let me clarify the natural scorer. There is nobody on this team that is as good of a natural scorer as Zach LaVine. LeBron can't shoot the way that he can. A lot of LeBron's offense, when he's on, don't get me wrong, at times he can knock down the three, but he's more of put my head down, get to the basket, score at the rim. Anthony Davis, his mid-range is great. It's beautiful, right? He's starting to hit the three ball, but that's not like really his game. He's best around the rim and that like 10 feet in range, and he's an absolute bucket, right? Zach LaVine would be our most explosive player. He'd be our most dynamic scorer, right? A guy that could legit score at all three levels, right? He would immediately be our best just natural scorer, which we don't have. So I agree that our offense is a problem. It really is. But where were we? Again, appreciate you. LeBron would brick a layup, then not run back on defense. Yeah, that was very frustrating. I already knew it, Tyler. We were going to lose today. I remember a loss last year on Christmas Day. Very sad. Yeah, we lost to, who was it, Dallas last year? So, yeah, I'm right there with you. Let's be real. If we had shooting, we're top 3 seed. I mean, if we had consistent shooting, I mean, we have several guys that can shoot 40%. It's just not consistently. And they can't shoot high enough on a regular basis. The fact that Rui is taking more threes than actually being set up in the post is mind-boggling. I'm right there with you. I mean, 1,000%. Like the fact that he took 9 threes. Why? There is never a good reason that you can give me that Rui is taking 9 threes unless he's like 8 of 9, right? If he's shooting the absolute lights out. Celtics making a super team. Bucks, Suns go all in, but need more. But watch out for LeBron Lakers looking for a trade. That's very likely to happen. They're probably going to make a trade. I don't know why Lakers cleaning to Austin Reeves. Because, I mean, again, we're limited on the guys that we have. We don't have, like, Austin Reeves is, him and D'Lo are second and third, our third and fourth best scorers, right? Whichever order you want to put them in, right? Again, that's why I lean towards getting a Zach LaVine. Because now if Reeves goes and gives you 20, you're probably winning every one of those games. Because that means Zach LaVine's probably giving you 25 or whatever. And now you just have enough offense to just blow through anything is the difference. So I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. But Andrew, coming out with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. People really forget a year or two ago, LaVine was in contention for best shooting guard in the league with Booker and Mitchell. His catch and shoot 3 ability is elite. I mean, he is. I mean, you think of all the shooting guards, LaVine isn't that far behind. I mean, there is a genuine argument that he's what, top 5 at worst, right? I mean, again, like who can you say is genuinely better than Zach LaVine? You know, Donovan Mitchell, Booker, sure, but like who else? Right? I would take LaVine over like a Desmond Bain. I would take LaVine over, trying to think of who else. KCP, a Buddy Hield. Trying to just run through the list of teams in my brain. I mean, Bradley Beal. I would take Bradley Beal over LaVine if Bradley Beal was healthy, right? But again, I mean, LaVine is 3 to 5. You know, he's got to be up there. So Anthony Edwards is another one. Oh, read my mind. October 6th. I read my mind. Anthony Edwards. I think Anthony Edwards might be a top 5 player in the league in like 3 years. That guy is ridiculous. He's like one of my favorite players to watch. Just trying to think of who else. Yeah. So I'd say, yeah, like Booker, Anthony Edwards, Donovan Mitchell, Bradley Beal. So there's 4. I'm sure if like I had a list of the names in front of me, it's one thing to like try to think of it off the top of my head. Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, I'd probably take everybody. Like those are probably it. But yeah, anyway, I am right there with you. Right there with you. Why not DeRozan again? Because look, I've been on the DeRozan train all since the offseason. I, for a long time, really thought that we would get DeMar DeRozan. I was pretty confident that DeMar DeRozan was going to be a Laker, but Chicago seems very adamant about not trading him, and DeMar DeRozan seems pretty. Again, how much of it is just company man answer, and how much of it is like he actually wants to stay in Chicago? Chicago being better without Zach LaVine, which I know a lot of people look at that and go, "Why would you want a guy that his team is better?" Because the fit is better. Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan just completely clash. They make no sense without a natural playmaker. That's why when Lonzo Ball played, Chicago was actually really good because there was not that like you go, I go, you go, I go. It was like LaVine has the ball. Okay, let me get it to DeMar. Let me get it to LaVine. All right, let me find this open man. Like there was fluidity, right? Without a true playmaker, there's no fluidity, right? Well, LaVine on the Lakers, he becomes he just gets to do his job. Just go out there and get buckets. Right? Don't worry about anything else. Just go score. Go give me 25 a game, or 20 a game, 22 a game, whatever, right? But the main reason why DeMar DeRozan is just because based on what Chicago's plan is to trade Zach LaVine. Let's say they don't trade Zach LaVine to the Lakers, right? They could trade Zach LaVine, let's say, to Miami. Just using them as an example, right? So they trade them to Miami. Their plan is to take whatever assets that are, whatever players are in that deal, get a good look at the team, and then see, okay, is this team good enough? Like if we have a full year with this team, maybe this team can compete. Or is it like, no, we need to hit the reset button? And then they're looking to trade LaVine or DeMar and maybe Alex Caruso and Vu and all those guys. Problem is, we know right now we could go get Zach LaVine as soon as the 15th. We don't know that DeMar DeRozan can come. And the Lakers desperately need a scorer. So you could say, okay, we don't want to trade for Zach LaVine. Let's wait on DeMar, or maybe somebody else becomes available, right? But the Lakers are very limited on assets. Right? They're not going to be able to trade for Donovan Mitchell. They're not going to be able to trade for a Lauri Markkanen. They're not going to be able to trade for any of these guys. I would love it. I would sell the farm. Basically, if you could get Donovan Mitchell, I'd say, we'll give you whatever. You want Austin Reeves? Take him. You want whatever? Take him. Like whatever you want, you can have it, right? As long as you got somebody like that. Problem is, I just think other teams can just outbid us easily. So we're very limited, and you'd be taking a huge risk that if Chicago says, we're going to trust that DeMar DeRozan is not going to leave and go anywhere, then the Lakers are in trouble. Now you're stuck with the team that you have, and you got to ride the rest of the season. And I just don't think this team is contender. I just don't think that they're good enough to win an actual championship. So that's why not DeMar DeRozan over Zach LaVine currently. But Andrew, coming out with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much. LaVine is the best catch and shoot three out of them. Yeah, he's like 45%, 46%, something like that. Up there, maybe he's 44%. I know he's in like the mid 40s is the point, which is good, right? That's what you want from a guy, especially if he's playing alongside. I tell you the data is especially when he's playing alongside I lost my train of thought. Sorry, got some message that was hilarious. But anyway, yeah, my point is that Zach LaVine, him playing alongside, that's what I say, playing alongside LeBron, AD, he's going to get so many looks, so many wide open looks. He's going to get so many catch and shoot shots, everything. But I was going to say the reason I started laughing is because I got a message, so I just want to make sure it wasn't like my girl or anything like that. It was my dad talking smack, talking about how the Lakers are terrible. So that was just funny. It was just random. Threw me off. I even got my dad texted me talking smack. But I appreciate that. 80 in the GOAT Reeves. Horrible offense of game by LeBron. Yeah, he was rough today. Lakers were up by 4 and cooled off fast. Yeah, because they don't have the consistency on the offensive end. They don't. They again they can have stretches, they can have moments, but they don't have again, they have to work hard to score, right? At least against the good teams. The bad teams, right? When you're playing a bad team or you're playing a team that's just terrible defensively, you don't. Right? Pacers are terrible defensively. Lakers were able to get whatever they wanted on offense, right? Because they just don't have the personnel and they don't have the defensive schemes to match up. But a team like Boston, who does, you have to work so hard for your offense. And so unless you get hot, you're not going to stay in these games. And that's what happened. Like the Lakers, Boston came out, shot a bunch of shots. The other reason why I don't fully believe in Boston is for all of the offensive talent that they have, they shoot so many threes, right? Like I understand, like if you're hot, shoot them. But like they've also shot themselves out of a lot of games. And that's the concern going into the playoffs. Is like once they get to the playoffs, becoming too reliant on the three ball when you just have so much offensive weaponry. But we'll see. Time will tell. Braun was playing hurt after that fall. Yeah, but I mean, even to start the game, he was rough. Caruso, LeBron, LaVine, Prince, Drummond. Get rid of 80 while he's hot before what? No. So what's the point of trading for LaVine if you're going to trade Anthony Davis? That makes zero sense. Horrible defensive game by LeBron as well, yeah. D'Lo defense. He actually had some good defensive sequences. He's been better. Like so many people are on D'Lo defensively. He's been statistically our like fourth best defender. If you remove Jared Vanderbilt, which he's only played a handful of games, he's been our like third best defender behind Anthony Davis and Cam Reddish. Like he's above league average this year. Like D'Lo hasn't been. I'm not saying he's like elite and like a great defender, but he hasn't been like people act like we're losing games because D'Lo's just terrible defensively. He like Reeves has been awful. Reeves has been like by like per minute and stuff. Like the Lakers are like a -6 with Austin Reeves. They're like 3 points better when he's off defensively and 3 points worse when he's on. So you got like a 6-point swing, a net rating of -6 with Austin Reeves defensively. D'Lo's actually been very good defensively this season. Again, he's not some like lockdown defensive guy, but he's been one of the better guard defenders in the league too this year. And he had some nice defensive sequences this year. Even if we have Zach, we still can't push our level to the limit because we have is a trash. What? Standings don't look good. It's time to worry about the standings. Yeah, right now. Yeah. Unless they go on some run. My hope is, January should be a very good month for the Lakers. And that's where I'm hoping that the Lakers will be able to kind of get in. Lakers' schedule has been just brutal, right? In January, like 12 of their first 14 games or something like that, or 13 of their 14 games are all at home. They have like one road game. They have 5 home games. I'm trying to think of it off the top of my head. They have like 5 home games and then a road game against Utah. Then they come back and they have like 4 home games and then a game against the Clippers, which is technically a home game, right? And then they have like 2 road games and then they got like another like 3 or 4 game stretch. So like they have literally like 12 games at home, which is good because that means you'll get your doctors, get extra rest, you're around your family, you're eating better, you're just everything works better. But Lakers need to trade for a score. I agree. Let's see. Even if we have Zach, we can't still push our level to the limit because our coach is trash. I mean, hey, talent solves a lot. There's a lot of questions about Joe Mazzulla and his coaching, and Celtics are the best team in the league. Celtics offense is very tough. I can't lie. Dude, they're the best team in the league. They are. They're the best team in the league. Bro, this is why we need a third star. LeBron doesn't the same anymore because he's old. So I'm all in on LaVine or DeRozan. Also, LeBron looked tired. Also, you have to notice it. I mean, I wouldn't say he's not the same player anymore. He's playing the best he has played since his Miami days, like in every metric. Like the guy has been ridiculous this year. He can't control a game like he could in his younger days. I'll give you that. So if you want to say he's not the same player he once was, yeah, that's true. But as far as like impact, he is. But tired? Yes, absolutely. The guy's played more minutes than he should have played all season, and all the road games, just everything. The way he has to play on a regular basis, like for us to just be competitive, absolutely. The dude's probably beat. We don't have any plays besides ice, so that's not true. We ran even several plays in this game. It's just we don't have the offensive weaponry. AR too small. Everyone going after him in the end, yeah, because he's our worst defensive player. This game showed that we desperately need a score to open up the paint. They pack in that. Yep. Great offense always beats great defense. Lakers shooting was good in the bubble historically. You need to be top 10 in both. Yeah, you gotta be pretty good, at least offensively. Yeah. I mean, even shooting. I mean, Lakers were 30 or 26 that year in shooting the three. So they weren't a good 3-point team, but offensively, they were like 7th, I think, or 8th. I think we should remove Cam on the starting 5 when Vando was there. We need scores. Problem is Vando hasn't been the same since he came back, which I talked about heavily. That was going to happen, and it's going to take him a couple games to get back. I mean, he's getting beat. He's missing assignments. His timing's off. Everything that I said would happen has happened because it's especially from a defensive side. So I think you got to keep Reddish in the starting lineup at least for now. Again, if you go get a trade for Zach LaVine, well, then now you can go with Reddish and Vanderbilt on the defensive side. But even then, I kind of like the idea of going with Prince, like going LaVine, Prince. If Vando gets back to being the Jared Vanderbilt we know and love, then Vando, LeBron, and AD. Or if not, then you go with Reddish. And you got just a perfect balance, in my opinion. And you got one of the best starting 5s in the league, in my opinion. Couldn't even defend LeBron this game, but he somehow bounced back. Just wish it worked for this game yet. Let's see. Austin Reeves is garbage. I'll never understand the hype when he plays elite guards. We see the difference. I mean, no one thought he was a superstar. He's not a superstar. He's still a very good player. He just defensively is not good. That's why he's best coming off the bench. Any game you put Reeves, D'Lo, Prince in at the same time, you're going to lose points and momentum. Keep AD out for that long with those 3 in the game. Bron couldn't have saved us, but it was not his fault. I mean, this game wasn't on LeBron, but we needed him to be better. Hopefully the 3-day break helps. I hope so too. I mean, technically it's 3 days because we don't play again until the 28th. LeBron did not look tired. He just chose to completely ignore defense and play with no effort. Dude, he missed, he just didn't try on defense, at least a handful of times off the top of my head. That just drove me crazy. Do you think if we get Zach, we have a chance to the finals if Trash Ham is still the coach? I mean, we made it to the conference finals last year with Darvin Ham. So, yeah, absolutely. You all see LeBron just not rotating defense or running back? Yeah. These men are human. Celtics just played better today Celtics are just the better team right now. Rui wasn't hitting. D'Lo non-existent per usual, and Reeves was mid today. I wouldn't say D'Lo was non-existent. I mean, D'Lo had 8 points and 6 assists in 17 minutes. He just wasn't on the court. He just didn't play a bunch. I mean, again, he's playing in a backup role and only getting 17 minutes a game the last 2 games, and he gave you 13 and 8 with 6. That's pretty good to me. I will say Reeves was mid today, and Rui wasn't hitting. Yes, 100%. But that's not Rui's game. I don't know why Darvin Ham loves to just have Rui in the game and just let him be spot up shooter. I don't know why LeBron doesn't identify that. Even if Darvin Ham doesn't want that, LeBron is one of the greatest basketball minds ever. I don't understand why he doesn't say, Rui, get on the block. Let me feed you the ball and go get a bucket. That's weird. Could have at least gave us 24. When Boston is hitting threes, they win. They outplayed them tonight. Simple. Ain't the end of the world. Got to fix these issues, though. Yeah, Lakers definitely have some issues that need to be addressed 100%. Thank you. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you too, Jane. Appreciate you. Let's see. Crowd was weak. AF though, yeah, I'm with you, Isabel. They were like there was just where was all the excitement at? Let's see. Man, come on, Lakers. Lakers coach gotta go. Don't count on it. Get comfortable. He's not. He's on like the first year of like a 4-year deal. If the Lakers fired him, they'd have to keep him 4 years. And who replaces him at this point? There's nobody that's worth replacing him right now. Like he's gonna be on the team at least the rest of the season. I don't celebrate holidays. No when babies are dying, but Darvin's game didn't call a single timeout when the Celtics blitzed the Lakers in the first quarter. I mean, he called timeout when we were down 12. He should have called it when we went down 7. But LeBron will bounce back. Give him a break. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. We can recognize LeBron is a beast and also say he played bad. Yeah, exactly. Both can be true. I don't think we need LaVine. We need shooting. There's no spacing for AD and LeBron. Well, Zach LaVine is a 38 to 40% three-point shooter. That gives you shooting and that gives you scoring. Like, who else are you going to get that gives you spacing better than that? I mean, you go trade for like a Buddy Hield, but one guy isn't going to solve it just shooting-wise. At least LaVine, he can shoot and knock down 5 to 6 threes a game, but also he can go and get to the basket. He can apply rim pressure. He can shoot the mid-range. He can do a lot. Zach LaVine definitely – I mean, if you want a shooter, you should want Zach LaVine. LaVine is literally a shooter. Looked like they showed up to play except AD. I would say Prince, too. Prince showed up. Prince was good. Another L for the Vegas. Yep. Tough. Give him a break. He ain't young anymore. Yeah. I get it. I hate how we just run ISO and kick out every possession. Can we actually pass the ball and run something? Stagnant offense is easy to defend. When we're not moving the basketball and sharing the basketball. What I've talked about. I mean, you look at that OKC game, we had 38 assists. Sharing the basketball, moving the basketball, keeping the ball flowing, all of that. When that kind of stuff happens, you're going to win games. I don't like D'Lo and Reeves play together. They are trash on defense, as you can see. Baisley blow by defenders. Yeah. Do you think Ham deserves to be the Lakers coach? Personally, no, I do. I don't think he's been good enough. But like I said, get comfortable. Have to scratch and claw for wins. It is when you don't have anybody else that can offensively do anything. Let's see. Sorry, trying to find something. To me, LeBron was off tonight. I think having 2 bigs would have helped tonight. Wood is in the dugout. I don't know why Wood can't see the court. Like, he can't be worse than Jackson Hayes. But with Zach LaVine, it would be even more ISO. Yeah, but at least it's a scorer that can go get a bucket. And you don't have to solely play him in ISO. Like, who are you going to get that's going to change the Lakers ISO? At least Zach LaVine is one of the better ISO players in the league. Right? So, like, at least you're generating offense. Rather than it's like isolation and we're getting nowhere. It's just like chucking up shots and stuff. If the Lakers acquire a new coach, who do you think deserving? Right now, nobody. There's nobody out there that I look at and go, "Oh, that's the guy I want as a head coach." For various reasons. There's just nobody that's worth it. I wouldn't mind getting a head coach and like Darvin Ham staying on the coach. Darvin Ham is really good defensively. I mean, Lakers are 6th in defense. Like, Darvin Ham in assistant role would be perfect. He just doesn't, he hasn't been doing the X's and O's well enough so far this season to do it. He was great, which is weird because he was perfect in the playoffs. He was excellent in the playoffs. I mean, he outcoached the Grizzlies coach. He outcoached Kerr. I mean, he was really good in the playoffs, coaching-wise. And just, crossing your T's and dotting your I's. But for whatever reason, he's just been bad this year. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. But right now, there's nobody that I look at and go, oh man, he would be great as the Lakers head coach. Rui going 0 for 7 from 3 during the fighting minutes killed us. Yeah, which is why I said there's not a good reason for him to ever just be jacking up threes like that. Christian Wood hurt or in the doghouse with him. I guess he's just in the doghouse with him. I haven't seen or heard anything about him being hurt. Let's see. Let's see. Sorry, trying to find something. Me. We need a point guard that can facilitate the floor and a backup five. You have a point guard that can facilitate the floor in D'Angelo Russell. Problem is we just don't use him as such. The one game that D'Lo got to do that without LeBron James, he put on an absolute scoring clinic. D'Lo in the point guard position, couple stats for you. So one of the best games and one of the best plays in all of basketball this year is the D'Lo pick and roll. Literally. He's also like number 2 in the league in that stat. He's been, when he gets to just play the point guard role, he's been like top 3 to 5 in the league. But the Lakers just don't. The Lakers just, when he's on the court, it's like Reeves, or he's just being the initiator, bringing the ball up, passing it up, and then going. They do not let him actually run the offense. The one game that he got to run the offense, he gave us like something like 20 and 10 or something like 20 and 11 or whatever it was, like and was just putting on a clinic. Was just shredding the defense. And he's one of the few guys that actually get Anthony Davis the basketball with regularity, right? He does get a little carried away with the passes. Don't get me wrong. He can be a little careless, trying to be a little too flashy rather than just the regular play. But you have a guy that can make plays and facilitate. And him, when I don't know why, if this was me and I was the coach, when LeBron is sitting on the bench, D'Lo, you're the point guard. Run the point guard. Reeves, if he's in the game, you're off the ball, right? I don't know why. Like, D'Lo is what we brought D'Lo in to play point guard, and he's done everything but that. Again, it's utilization, not utilizing your players correctly. But they need to make some trades this week. This is just a waste of LeBron's waiting. They can't make a trade this week. You have to wait till earliest the 15th, which even then is probably, I wouldn't count on it on that day. What a disappointing game. No, we could have won that game. Coming out of the gate, being behind, not good. Yep, that's kind of been the Lakers thing all season. Let's see. What's up with Christian Wood? Your guess is as good as mine. That's what this is. Your guess is literally as good as mine. I really, really wanted this win likewise. This game on Christmas at home. Really, Lakers, yep. I feel it. Zach LaVine has been injury prone since Minnesota. Yeah, but so is most of the players in the league nowadays. Like I always say, you can't make decisions based on injuries. If you make decisions based on injuries, no one would ever get traded. No one would ever get played. We would have never traded for Anthony Davis, and it won us an NBA championship, right? You also got to take several things into account. His role in Minnesota and Chicago compared to his role with the Lakers, the type of minutes that he plays, the workload, all of it. Like, all of those things would be factors as well. I'm not saying that he won't get hurt. I'm not saying anything like that. But he would just be in a completely different situation. But you can't make decisions based solely on injuries. Because, I mean, you can make an argument for almost every guy in the league, right? Embiid, isn't he sitting out this game today? So is he injury prone? He misses, 10 games a season. Like, LaVine is too expensive. The cost means nothing. The Lakers are already cap. Like, it's not like if they don't trade for LaVine, they have a bunch of cap space over the next few years. No, they have nothing. The only thing Zach LaVine would change is the luxury tax that the Lakers have to pay, which it's just Genie, right? As long as Genie's willing to pay for it, then it doesn't matter. Bulls don't need any more guards. That's why they'd get like Rui, and they need a playmaking guard. They don't have a playmaking guard. D'Lo can provide that. Can we make a trade for an all-star point guard, please? Like, who? Who are you going to trade? You got to remember, the Lakers, Lakers are very limited on assets, right? like the idea, so like Raul said, Lauri Markkanen. I would love Lauri Markkanen. We don't have the assets. Don't like the big names, right? If Jean Morant could become available tomorrow, we don't have the assets. You know, you pick your favorite player. Any of them become available, the Lakers are not getting them. It's just the Lakers just don't have the assets. They have one first round pick, a pick swap, and like 3 seconds or 4 seconds that they can trade, right? Unless a team just like thinks Austin Reeves is an all-star level player and Rui has all-star level potential, and they are just for whatever reason absolutely in love with those guys. You're not getting a Donovan Mitchell or anything like that. If it happens, great. I just don't hold your breath. I would be incredibly shocked. That's why when people are like, why do you want Zach LaVine so bad? Not necessarily that I want Zach LaVine so bad. I just want anybody that can provide what he provides. The thing is that Zach LaVine is the most realistic, and without having to sell the farm, stuff like that. But let's see. Can we make a trade for an all-star point guard? No. Sorry, trying to find something to me. We can get D'Lo a chance to get it right from hits 3-point shooting. Again, it's just the position that he's in, the role he plays. Let's see. We need to go and get shooters. The spacing would be really good for AD and Brown. Well, that's why Zach LaVine. All right, let's just say Zach LaVine comes to the Lakers and it makes us start losing hypothetically. What do we do then? I mean, you can say that about anybody, right? I mean, let's say we trade for Donovan Mitchell and the Lakers start losing. What do we do, right? I mean, again, it's just because you're not going to be able to trade him that year anyway. If the Lakers make a trade and it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But what are you're just not supposed to make a chance? You're just not supposed to chance it. What if the Lakers traded for Anthony Davis and we didn't win an NBA championship, right? Let's not trade for AD. Let's keep our young guys. Well, we wouldn't have won in 2020. That's still a championship, right? Like, I mean, again, it is more likely that it'll work. I'm not saying that we'll guarantee the championship, but at least if it works, you have like your foundation for next season and you could be in a good position this year. You're going to be a lot better than you are. It would be cool to hate on Ham finally, or are we still taking our time on that one? I don't know. It depends on who you're asking. Let's get AD credit. AD was fantastic. He was ridiculous this game. AD's been great this season. Great. This is the best year. This is the best AD's looked since the bubble. AD is a monster, yes. Rui and D'Lo for LaVine. Reeves for Turner and Buddy Hield. Unfortunately, financially, that doesn't work. I would love to get Miles Turner. If Indiana keeps tanking, or not, I mean, they're not tanking deliberately, but they keep losing and keep playing this bad, and they get up Miles Turner, especially if we can get LaVine without trading a first, which I do think is a real possibility, right? Because we're doing Chicago a massive favor, right? If you could theoretically get LaVine and Turner. You'd have to trade something like D'Lo, Rui, what would it be? Like D'Lo, Rui, Gabe Vincent, Jalen Hood-Schifino, Maxwell Lewis. You'd have to stack some contracts there, but because like Turner's making what, $18 million this year, so you may have to throw in like a Prince. But I think if you could stack, and then at that point just bring in two-way guys, because at that point you just need bodies, right? Like your rotation's fine. But do you think the Lakers will actually be able to get a trade done? Yes, I absolutely do. I think a trade is very likely to happen, unless it's just like Chicago's just being silly and just holding out or whatever, and which I don't see them doing. Like, there's nothing's ever a guarantee, but I'm fairly confident. The only way I see the Lakers not trading for Zach LaVine or making some type of trade is if Zach LaVine comes back and he doesn't look good on the Lakers physicals or whatever. What would Lakers have to give up to get a Zach LaVine trade? Basically, D'Lo, Rui, like Jalen Hood-Schifino and like Hayes or something like that. Which you'd still be basically 10 guys deep. You'd have plenty of depth. Celtics starting five with double figures. I mean, that's like every game. Celtics have the best starting five in the league. If they don't have to give up LeBron or AD for LaVine, you make that trade. Reeves included, sadly. I mean, I wouldn't be completely against trading Reeves. I wouldn't, because I just don't think you have to. But let's see. If Zach LaVine comes and we go on a 6-game win streak, how much do we take from that? Remember, he is unproven in the playoffs. I mean, if the Lakers go on a 6-game win streak, I mean, I don't think you take too much out of the regular season, regardless, right? I say it all the time. You ride the highs with the highs, the lows with the lows. You don't get too crazy, right? We could trade for Zach LaVine and win and go undefeated in the regular season. Like, would that make us a contender? Sure, but that doesn't guarantee that we're going to win a championship. And unproven in the playoffs. I mean, most guys have been unproven in the playoffs when they've came in. I mean, Anthony Davis had one playoff series against him, right? It just again, he's had playoff games. He's had playoff series. He's also been the number one option, right? Again, he'd be the third option for the Lakers, right? He can't be worse than D'Lo was. Like, look at it like this. If you had Zach LaVine over D'Lo last season against Denver, the Lakers might have won that series. That entire series was decided by 24 points total. 24 points total. Man, Chicago just keep themselves in purgatory. DeRozan, White, Vu ain't going to get you anywhere. I agree, but they just seem to be a team that would rather be in purgatory than actually getting over. My dad blaming him yet? No, he just said that the trash. He just said that the Lakers are trash. Max Christie injured or back to the G League? No, I think he's just hovering back and forth for the G League. Lakers played pretty good defense in the first half. That second and third quarter was good until like tail end of the third quarter. But also like Boston just hit some key shots down the stretch. I would love Dorian Finney-Smith. Dorian Finney-Smith would help a lot, especially if you get like LaVine and stuff. Let's see. 80 is going for the MVP. He's defensive player of the year and MVP this year. I mean, he's been ridiculous. Struggling with his timing and conditioning. Yeah, agreed. Out of everyone, I think Gabe seriously needs to go. I was hoping he would be our best signing, but I believe Taurean Prince has been our best signing. Gabe has barely played. Yeah, he's only played 5 games. Problem is that with his injury, you're probably not going to be able to trade him anytime soon. We need Zach LaVine. I am right there with him. Right there with him. Reeves cannot defend with the Lake. Yeah, he's been our worst defensive player this year. He shouldn't play. Yeah, I mean, again, like I don't mind him playing in spots, but if we had another reliable backup. Let's see. If JT doesn't come to the Lakers when he gets a chance, I'm going to be annoyed. Wearing the Kobe band, dude is teasing. Yeah, he's always like wearing Kobe stuff. We did just beat OKC, which was nice. I think I'm only Filipino watching your channel. Glad I discovered your channel, man. You're better than the NBA podcast and analysis. Merry Christmas in the Philippines in December 26th already. Well, thank you. First off, I really appreciate that. And shout out to the Philippines. Actually, no. So number one is my U.S. market. U.S. market is like 70% of this channel or whatever. Number two is the Philippines. I have like 20% or something like that from the Philippines. I get a lot of viewers from the Philippines because the Lakers, Filipinos love the Lakers. So, yeah, appreciate you. But hey, nonetheless, I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being in the live stream. You're awesome. I know we're the only team that wants LaVine, so that gives us leverage. But do the Bulls even want any of our players, not named Reeves? They can hold on to LaVine until the market looks better. The problem is that the market might never look better. And what are they going to do? Are they going to pay him $40 million a year to just not play him? Because they can't bring him back. They can't let him play. Him and why am I blanking on the coach? Coach, what is his name? I'm blanking on his name. Anyway, him and the Bulls coach are just not like they can't stand each other. There were reports last season that DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine don't like each other. They weren't getting along, and that's been talked about this season. The front office and Zach LaVine are done. The Chicago Bulls have played a lot better without Zach LaVine. You have Kobe White, who's been playing great. Like, what is Chicago going to do? Are they really going to move White back to the bench, bring Zach LaVine back in, right? Like, yeah, I mean, it could be a disaster, an absolute disaster. I just think they have no choice. I mean, there's always a choice. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but and maybe some other team comes and swoops in. I just don't see who that is, right? Like, at least with like a Donovan Mitchell or like a Kyrie, like, okay, like there's teams that could use those guys, but like what top team is looking at Zach LaVine and going, that's the guy, right? Like that's the guy we need, right? Like, oh, let's take a shot on Zach LaVine. Like Donovan Mitchell, at least he had multi-years on his contract. He's a guy that can make a significant impact. Like Zach LaVine can't work anywhere, right? He only, in my opinion, only Miami and the Lakers are the two teams that really need him. And I just don't think Miami's going to push their chips in for LaVine. Let's see. Play like Magic Johnson in this game for the 84 finals. That's the problem. LA just wants to make the playoffs, and they need to lock in. We all know it's a long season, but this next month should get our tempo up. I agree. This month should be huge for us. Huge for us. Let's see. Here in the Philippines time, I expected your first upload every 10 p.m. Oh, really? Every day. Well, yeah. So like my first upload on this channel is usually 6 a.m. and then on the other Laker channel it's 9 a.m. So yeah, depending on where you are in the whatever the Philippine time is, yeah, I could see that. I try to stay as consistent every day as possible so people know, like, okay, 6 a.m. Pacific time, boom, I got a video. 9 a.m. or 12 p.m. Eastern time, boom, I got a video. Like, so I try to, like, with all my channels, stay in the same time frame. And then, like, usually the second video I post just depends on the news, right? Let the first one marinate, and then depending on what happens in the day. Ham mentioned, well, I don't think that that's a major problem. I don't think that helps. Right? Again, like, Wood can't be worse than Hayes. So, and I get Hayes is just bigger, but, like, I don't know. We're just Bismack Biyombo is not. He's on the Grizzlies. Unfortunately, but hey, all right, appreciate you, Jake. We need some help because Braun and AD dropped just 40-point games, and I just think trade Gabe Vincent a first rounder to get Buddy to clean up our mistakes. I think that would happen. Probably not, just because Gabe Vincent, with that injury, he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. So you're talking like he might be out till after the trade deadline. So probably not. The last 2 weeks of the regular season are waiting for the playoffs. But you have to win games now in order to do it. It's a backwards type of thinking. They'll start getting serious. I hope so. That'd be crazy depth loss. No, it wouldn't. Again, you're losing 3. Like, even when you get to the playoffs, you're not going to run 12 guys. Like, the Lakers aren't running 12 guys now. And literally, Zach LaVine would score more than Rui and D'Lo combined. Jalen Hood-Schifino doesn't play. Jackson Hayes is nearly unplayable. You'd also get an Andre Drummond in the deal, most likely. So you're talking, let's look at it like this. You'd have LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Zach LaVine. You'd have Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt, Cam Reddish, Taurean Prince. There's your front 7 right there. And that's one of the best front 7s in the league, right? And that's not count, like, let's say, again, you get Andre Drummond. There's Andre Drummond, right? You'd still have, like, a Max Christie probably, right? Like, I mean, how many guys do you need? And you'd still have, like, a roster spot or 2 that you need to fill in for the buyout market. So, like, you're going to be 10 to maybe 12 guys deep anyway. You're not losing depth. And pretty much all your team is locked up for the next several years anyway. Let's see. I can imagine the Lakers would be right behind the Timberwolves in the West if we played with the energy and urgency. It's a shame, really. I think the Lakers should be at least top 3, at worst 4 seed in the West right now. Lakers really need that LaVine trade, to be fair, because almost NBA good teams has multiple stars. Yes, agreed. Need it. Christian Wood deserves a chance. I agree. To Billy Donovan, thank you. I don't know why I blanked on him. I've talked about him a lot in the last few weeks, but yeah, I just blanked on it. Thank you for the assist. I think that the Lakers can manage to keep both Reeves and Vando in the process of getting LaVine. They'd be serious contenders. I don't know why the Lakers would have to trade either of those guys. I know that they really want. They don't really. There doesn't really seem to be any word that they want Vando. They definitely want Reeves, but everyone wants Reeves. But if you're the Lakers, you have no reason to trade Reeves. None. If Jaylen Brown stayed in the locker room, how much would he have been for the Celtics because he finished better than LeBron? If he stayed in the locker room, the Lakers might have won this game. He was big for them. Everyone outside of that bracket should be available to shop. Yeah. The Lakers have a nice roster if Ham uses it properly. I mean, on paper, they have a nice roster. And I fully agree. Darvin Ham has been terrible at utilizing his players, 100%. But also the players have just underperformed, and we lack a lot. This roster isn't as good as it is on paper. It just hasn't been. And it's beyond Darvin Ham. I mean, Darvin Ham is part of the problem. But people act like if we traded Darvin Ham, all of a sudden we'd be the best team in the league. It's not the case. Would we be better with the right coach? Sure. But we just don't have the complementary pieces. We need an explosive guard and we need some athleticism out in the guard position, which we just don't have. Look at all the top teams. They all have athletic guards, right? We don't. We're the only team that does it. So again, we got to figure stuff out. Need to give Wood minutes because he can score alongside AD, but Ham refuses to use and uses Jackson. I'm with you. I don't know why that happens either. But anyway, I got to the end of the chat, got to the end of the stream. I'm going to get on out of here. Again, Merry Christmas, everyone. I really do appreciate you all being here. Happy holidays, all of that. Thank you all for hanging out with me. I was surprised we had as many people as we did. But I really do thank you all for hanging out, being a part of it. Everyone that gave super chats, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Seriously, very kind. Helps me out a lot. Don't forget to like the video. Subscribe to the channel. I'm almost to 18K. So if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. What am I at? Let's see. I am 34 subs away. 34 subs away from 18K, which would be beautiful. Want to hit that by the end of the year. But anyway, you guys are awesome. I really do appreciate you all. And I will see you all in the next one. We got a couple days off, so look forward to the videos, and we'll do another live stream soon. Appreciate you.